further on that. Even when we were thousands and thousands of years ago, when man was a very primitive human beings, and that at that time only built form or only protection we had were caves and or under a tree where we could protect ourselves from sun or from the harsh weather, and there was the only protection around. So cave and tree were the only natural protections available to human beings. And then we started making shelters. So we started making our own built form, and we started creating through huts and things like that. So moment the day when the primitive man started making shelters, so the profession of architecture was born. So from there, the profession has taken over. So today we can say that that is one profession where art and technology meets, where you have to explore a lot of the various art forms, patterns, colors, and a lot of technology which is involved with creating the design, creating the build form, whether that is construction technology, production of the materials, so and even the erection of the buildings and all. So a lot of complex technologies are involved in creating today's building. So architecture is, you can say, is a culmination of art and technology. Plus, there is more to it. I mean, architecture is not only just art and technology. Architecture involves art, technology, construction, planning, environment, psychology, landscape, sociology. So all these aspects, I mean, there can be even more aspects to it, but these are the major aspects which always will be there in a project or an architectural profession. So every project some may have little more of a certain kind of aspect involved, but these are majorly all aspects which are involved in an architecture or a profession of architecture. So what do architects design? I mean, okay, we design, you know that, okay, architecture is applied in so many different building typologies or different type of buildings you do, right? Normally people associate architecture with only residences, but it's not so. I mean, it's such a very vast range of building types which architects work on today. It starts from, say, okay, individual residences, fine, which could be large bungalows, farmhouses, which are again very glamour-oriented, high-end products. To that, to a low-cost, economically weaker section housing. I mean, you are working not only for a high-end the cream of the society, you're also working for the extreme lower strata of the society. So working on low-cost housings for economically weaker section. Working on slum redevelopment projects, creating multi-story housing for lower strata of the society. This thing. You can say glamorous hotels and resorts. Of course, you might have had the opportunity of staying in those resorts and hotels. You would have seen how fabulous they look. So they are all created or worked or designed, worked out by an architect. Then hospitals and healthcare buildings, which are so essentially functional buildings, but also are created in a way that it gives a lot of relief, functionally relief to the patients or the visitors to the hospital. Then there are a lot of other buildings like libraries, schools, university campuses, town and cities. Even town planning and cities, larger cities also designed by architects. Then landscaping like parks and gardens, a lot of green spaces, green areas which are created by architects. To the sports arenas and stadiums which you always see in your televisions and all, which are there in either an indoor stadium or an outdoor or an open stadium. You will find they're all worked out by architects which involve complex structures, complex planning for traffic movement, structural design, and a lot of other things are there involved, factors involved. Then religious building like temple, church, mosque, and all there. They have some very from the ancient time. We have some fabulous temples which you find now in Tamil Nadu. You will find 1,000-year-old, 2,000-year-old temples, even in small remote villages and all, which have been there, which are our heritage. Similarly, like churches, what you find in Europe and all, mosque and all, which have been there are some very fabulous buildings which have been done for religious purposes. And now which are what we call as mega structures like airports, railway station, ports, which are like now you would have heard so much happening in in Delhi, in Chennai, there is a new airport coming up. So a lot of and for smaller airports coming up in a lot of small cities. So I mean, there has been a lot of these are all infrastructural projects. Besides a lot of new projects which are coming up, like bullet train, high-speed railways, you have those high-speed transportations coming up. So for all those are the future opportunities which are really coming up for architects, which are the buildings which are not been done so far. For that, we don't have a reference point in India, but those are the kind of building like the loop stations and all. They'll be coming up in future. So those kind of projects are still coming up and still in the pipeline or in the offering for the future. So, I mean, this is just to give an idea what architects do. I mean, these are kind of projects architects are able to do. And we are as an office or as an architectural practice, work with different organizations, different type of organization who actually make a project feasible, where we design and they construct. There are construction companies like L&T, NBCC and all who are doing large-scale projects, and they do that. And there are, for a smaller project, there are always local contractors who are executing the project. So architects basically conceive the project, and there are construction companies who execute the project. So I'm considering this, that like just to give an idea who should opt for architecture. Like amongst you, a lot of people who would be having very clear idea what they are going in for, and there will be a lot of people who would be still in dilemma what to choose, what career path to choose, and where to go. So I think for architecture, the basic qualities, or what you can not quality, I would say traits which should be there in the person. One is that you need to be really adventurous. So basically to explore new things, to adopt new ideas, more open-minded. Artistically inclined is yes, but you need not be an artist. So a lot of people who say my sketching is not good, I'm not a good artist, so can I be an architect? I will say yes, because you don't really have to be a very good artist to become an architect. But yeah, of course, you should be artistically inclined. You should have interest in art, or you should be able to see and identify or appreciate art. That definitely helps. Then enjoy exploring new boundaries. Like an architect, as whenever there is a project, we try to do something new. We try to create something new. And as an architect, you like to work on different type of projects. Like if I'm working in a residence now, tomorrow I would like to work on a different type of project. Maybe I would like to work on a school. So maybe next tomorrow I would like to work on a hospital. So that way, you try to work on different kind of projects. And also the projects can be anywhere. It could be any part of the country or any part of the world. So different locations, have different impact on the architecture. So different type of climatologies are there. So they have a different type of cultural impact on the building. So there are so those kind of things are there. Every project is a research project. Every work every project is a new. You explore and research and try to find new things from the project. Try to do something new, and of course you like to do things which have never been done before. So that if you have that kind of a trait, then architecture is definitely is a career for you. Nomadic. When I say nomadic, means somebody who likes to travel a lot. So when you travel more, you get more exposure. You see new things. You learn new things, new practices, and you adopt a lot of things from that, and you implement that in your architecture or your design process. So that being nomadic helps. Loving nature makes you more nature friendly, environment friendly architect. And of course, it's a lot of hard work. Architecture is not an easy course. It's a heavy course. And even after doing the course, architecture as a working is definitely needs a lot of effort, a lot of hard work, sleepless nights. So if you enjoy that and you are able to sustain being resilient. So, and there are times when there are designs getting failed or rejected and things like that will keep happening. So that resilience towards failure, and to keep on looking at new still looking at new achievements and still trying to work towards something better, that is required in this profession. That will definitely help. So if you have these traits, then definitely architecture is a course for you. So what is life as an architect? I mean, that is something which question which will definitely come with it. If I become an architect, what will be my life like? And what will be I doing? So yes, if I say yes, life will be full of struggle. Yes, there is, because there is no profession which says that there is no struggle. All professions have their own struggle. Plus and minuses are there. So if you are working, then there is struggle. And architects, like I said, definitely is a real demanding course and demanding profession. Challenging, yes, and definitely you will need, because every project comes with a timeline, comes with a constraints of budget and timelines and technology, so that you have to take and still create something which is new, which has got wow factor into it and is liked and appreciated by people. So that's a challenge. Yes, rewarding. Yes, it's very much a rewarding thing, because you will know when you become an architect and you see your buildings being appreciated, your buildings becoming a landmark, and your people referring to your buildings as a reference point for discussions and all. And definitely that's a rewarding point. The client satisfaction is there. So from that you get job satisfaction. I mean, as you say. So whenever a job is well done, you feel more satisfied, and whenever a building is appreciated, you get a lot of recognition. So recognition in the sense that not only in the professional circle, people get to know you, people identify you. You are not a nameless person working in some organization or an IT company, but it is like your creation is seen by public. It is out in the public. People react to it. So when people react in a good way, you feel happy, and it definitely gets you more recognition. Then there are a lot of journals, publications which publish your work, and that way you feel more satisfied, more recognized. So that is something which architecture offers, a lot of other professions won't offer. Financially, I would say yes, the initial years in an architecture profession are not so financially rewarding. There is a struggle, yes, but if you are good enough, and as you keep consistent efforts and keep working in the profession, then definitely with time the financial rewards become quite appreciable, and it can be rewarding for career also. I mean, you can enjoy the financial success also from architecture. And hard work, yes, it is definitely a hard work demand. Like I said, it definitely demands a lot of work, and since it's a thought process which is involved, so you cannot really shut down yourself, and you cannot switch off your mind in a way. So there is definitely things going on always in the back of your mind. So it is not on and off switch like other professions or an office. Whenever even if you're out of office, you can be constantly thinking about a project. You may be getting inspiration from things around you where you are moving around and all. So that is definitely there in this profession in architecture. Since it's a design, mind, thinking, thought process is always on. And coming to a lot of architects grow up into, like when you say what architects grow up into, by this I mean that when you're done in architecture, you get a job. You can grow up as in the organization ladder. You can join as a junior architect and become senior architect, principal architect of an organization. You can join a lot of corporates are employing architects. A lot of hospital chains are employing architects. Retail chains are employing architects. So that is a completely a job-oriented work where, and a lot of construction companies take architects like L&T and NBCC and HSCC, those kind of Nagarjuna Construction. These kind of companies absorb architects. So there people join as architects, and they keep growing the corporate ladder, the organization ladder slowly with time. Plus, other biggest advantage with architecture is that you can be your own master whenever you want to be. In a sense that you can become your own business owner, you can set up your own practice, which normally engineers are not able to do. architecture as a consulting profession. You can set up your own shop with a minimum investment and with a lot of flexibility. So that is something which architecture as a profession offers definitely. And that's how a lot of architects, after working in companies for 5-10 years or gaining work exposure, to set up their own practice after some time and become their own masters. That is the biggest advantage which I find in architecture course. Plus, then there are other. I mean, architecture is just a basic education. You can take architecture as a basic education for design, because design fundamentals or design principles remain same for almost all kind of design. So the architects can specialize and grow and do more studies and grow into product designers. I know a lot of architects who have become product designers after doing a master's course in industrial design from there are so many institutes. So architecture they are using as a base education. After graduating from an architecture institute, they go and become a product designer or a visual designer, where they are designing a lot of visual campaigns for advertising agency. They are doing animations, they are doing character creations, and a lot of other, I mean, creative things they are being done by them. A lot of architects who are good at art have become artists. They metamorph into an art. They get their they're able to hone their skill further into art, into making murals and different art form and art application they are doing. A lot of architects become filmmakers. Like, since it's a basically sort of what do you call a creativity instinct inside you. Once architecture a course of 5 years gives you that kind of creative boost, or burns that flame inside you. After that, the applications can be so many different. So there are people who are filmmakers and who are the basic education as architects, and they're grown on to become filmmakers. Environmental, there are a lot of environmental, because since architecture talks about so many gamuts of field, like what I told you earlier. So in that, a lot of environment, and the architects are supposed to be thinkers or the other think tanks of the society, because architects learn so many things and they apply so many things. So there are a lot of architects are environmentally more aware, they're environmentally more conscious. So a lot of architects have grown into environmentalists, and they are doing a lot of environmental projects with organizations like TERI and all those things. So they're finding good opportunities there to work as environmentalists, and they're leading from front actually. Then UX designer, like I talked about UX, user experience and all. So I know a lot of architects who have gone into graphic design, and from there they've gone into software companies, working with companies like PayPal, Amazon and all, and where they are doing the user interface design or user experience design for their consumers. So I mean, they are not doing building design, but since like I said, the basic design fundamentals remain the same. They're able to apply it there on those aspects of that. Then a lot of architects have become authors. Like I said, architects are thinkers. They think, and they are deep people actually. So a lot of architects have turned authors, either writing books of fiction and non-fiction both. And journalists, like a lot of architects who get into design journalism, and they have taken up the journalism as a profession. So I mean, this is just a few of the you can say branch outs which are possible after doing architecture. So when you're doing architecture course, you are not only learning what about building construction and all, you're learning about so many other things that you have the capacity and capability to branch out into different professions after completing that. So that's what I think that is. Yeah. So that is what I wanted to give you just a brief idea of this architecture as a profession, what we are doing. And I mean, for architecture, what architects are doing now, and what architects opportunities available is something like, I'll just give an idea that whatever it is, a survey which says that whatever has been built till date from the existence of human being. We are going to see almost 1.5 times of that construction, that much of square feet in next coming 10 to 20 years. So that means that whatever built area, built up environment we see today around us, we are going to see 2.5 times of that. I mean, 2.5 times of that has to be built by 2040. So if that is the scenario, then definitely there is a huge amount of work, amount of construction is going to happen in next 10 to 20 years. And plus there is a, when I talk about the changing construction scenario also, like a lot of technologies come into construction or the design itself, the way the buildings are being designed, the way architects are working from the traditional design, drawing board to metamorphing to AutoCAD computers, and now even now we're talking about 3D printed buildings where buildings are being printed rather than being built in the conventional way. So I mean, in terms of architecture presentation, we are talking about augmented reality and walkthroughs and virtual reality tours, which we are able to give to our clients, where they are able to see and feel the building and the space even before in the initial stage of design itself. So I mean, there is a whole lot of technological changes which are happening, and I'm very sure as the future from 10 years or 20 years or 30 years down the line, you are going to have buildings which are going to which will be made in a very different way than what they are being made today. Technology is definitely going to change the design, or the way that it is being designed today. Definitely it will evolve into a different, more technological, more technical way of designing, and all will be happening. So already people are looking at talking about what is going to happen in the future, and what people are already experimenting with that. So there is a lot of scope for even those kind of people who have a very good knack for computers and good knack for IT, and they are also have interest in space and architectural design. So I mean, there are a lot of people I find who have that good bent of architecture, actually design oriented, plus they are also very technically inclined. So for them also, the coming years are going to be really very exciting. So there is a whole lot of scope available for different kind of professions which are branching out from architecture. So what you are going to do as a 5-year architecture course is going to be a very it's like a basic thing which you learn and you start practicing. And as you grow, definitely there is a whole lot of scope to grow further and metamorph into a different kind of an architect or different kind of profession altogether. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for giving an excellent coverage on what design is, various design intentions, elaborating on what architects do by giving an overview on the typologies of projects, and also adding an inspiring note on what all the students can explore in the journey through their architectural education, also the way forward after graduating architecture. Thank you, sir. Now, to the audience, we will be playing a short video on McGinn's Ooty School of Architecture and its campus life. Over to you, Hari sir.
A warm welcome to Mr. N. Murali Kumar, Chairman of the McGinn's Ooty School of Architecture. The first MOU under this new program will be signed with McGinn's Ooty School of Architecture, which was started in 2008 under the chairmanship of Sri N. Murali Kumar. As a first step, CEP will support the teaching and learning in the first year of McGinn's Bachelor's Program in Architecture.
The MOU is signed by Dr. Bimal Patel and Sri Murali Kumar. heartiest congratulations to all of us.
McKinsey is always focused on producing industry-ready professionals, starting with a 6 months to 1 year internship program as part of the Anna University curriculum. When it comes to students of final year's architectural thesis, our experienced faculties focus on educating the students on building bylaws, awareness of the urban context, etc. Through this, we ensure that our graduates practice in architectural forms of good standards. We also have a finishing school in our campus that we consider as an important part of. We also work in collaboration with the Collectorate of Degrees on various street art and public space development projects, starting at the local level itself. We have recently signed an MOU with Satya University and have started with the FSDS, Foundational Skills for Design Students program for the first year students, ensuring that we lay a very strong foundation at the base level. Thank you. In the FSDS program, introduced in collaboration with Satya University, we teach students basic design and the technical skills through interactive exercises.
The teaching methodology we follow is showing students step by step the process of the video, of the exercises, and giving brief explanation of the same.
The exercise modules, which also involve working models, are formulated well in advance and are carefully sequenced to improve the quality of work.
We maintain a record of the feedback from the students where they have responded positively to the course and found a significant improvement in the design abilities.
Hi, I'm Gautam Sunil and I'm from Trivandrum, Kerala, and I'm studying in McKinsey School of Architecture, Pune. FSDS, the Foundation Studio for Design Students. Well, FSDS came in like a surprise, even though it was hectic and was not part of our academic syllabus. It has given us a foundation on drawings and concepts on how to visualize and understand shapes in different angles. I still remember our assemblage assignment in which we had a lot of fun and how we spent a lot of time just to get a new shape which we haven't seen yet. So I'm pretty sure that the time we spend for FSDS will be helpful throughout the 5 years of the program.
be very important. But in first year, we prioritize on the process what they're there.
After we came into the field of architecture, our perspective on seeing the basic things has changed. As a result, we have developed originality, creativity, and skill. We understood architecture as a gateway to new dimension where we can create and signal things to a new manner. And then we learned about positive and negative space where imagination and creativity comes into play.
The exercises we have in first year primarily focus on three things: observation, exploration, and application. We expose students to these techniques that helps them in approaching architectural design subsequently.
In the first year, we also make sure all the students orient themselves to this form of architecture. We incorporate theoretical concepts of architectural history into art exercises like modeling.
Also important in first year, we bring in concept of mathematics and architectural drawing, which is fundamental to the skill set required in the future semesters.
In second year, we make sure the students undergo a smooth transition from basic design concepts into the architectural design specifically.
To be more sensitive towards spatial association with anthropometry, we undertake a human study that exposes the students to the impact of architectural design on human to settlement level.
Subjects like climatology help students to design spaces that incorporate the ideas of thermal comfort.
Also in this year, we introduced different techniques suitable for practical planning and construction of building projects in depth.
We felt a significant shift coming into the second year and exploring architectural design in detail. We adapt well to the new concept we are exposed to.
We were taught various theoretical concepts such as thermal comfort, structural system, etc. that defined our design abilities.
Thank you, Harisa. Now, I would like to introduce you our next eminent guest and speaker, Architect Akhilesh BB. He completed his bachelor's in architecture from Crescent School of Architecture under Anna University and master's in architecture from Meenakshi School of Architecture. He began his career in 2019 by training students for NATA and teaching software for students under Chavana Design Studio. Then he started his interior design consultancy called D-Arc by D Aesthetics and completed various projects in Salem, Tirupattur and Karur. We are all very pleased to have architect Akhilesh BB here with us today on discussion on this topic. On behalf of McGann's Ooty School of Architecture, I welcome you, sir. Over to you.
Hello, good evening to one and all present here. Comparing to Mr. Vacuum has given you a lot of information about architecture and how the architects like. Comparing to his knowledge on architecture and his experience on architecture minus like a pinch of salt in a sea. But I am right now here is to speak on what is NATA and why we need to write NATA exam. What is the benefit of writing NATA exam? NATA deals with the national. NATA is about National Architecture Aptitude Test for architects. It is mainly for testing the IQ level of architects on a creative and analysis, both the creative aspects and the analysis aspects. You have a doubt that why should I write NATA exam for getting into the architecture course? Yeah, for that the answer is you should write NATA exam because you need to get in that you have the creative skill and both the analysis to solve the problem. Once after completing the plus two, if you are deciding your career is going to be architecture, and if you are planning for doing architecture, the first thing in your life is taking the NATA exam. The thing is, NATA doesn't deals with comparing to other competitive exam. NATA is something different, and it deals more on creative and analytical part. Like other competitive exams like TNPC and some other general exams, banking exams, you will have general aptitude and part of thing. But in NATA, you will be dealing only on architecture aspects, the aesthetical aspects of the architecture. Coming to NATA exam pattern, NATA consists of four parts. One is multiple choice type question, that is MCQ. The second one is MSQ, the multiple selective type question. The third one is preferential type question, and the fourth one is numerical answer type question. Students will have a doubt commonly what this MCQ type, MSQ type, PCQ type, and NAQ type. Nothing. It is MCQ type directly deals with your mathematical part, which is you already gone through in your plus two. The MSQ type will be of architectural analysis part, and the PCQ type and NAQ type will deal on the diagrammatic reasoning, numerical reasoning, verbal reasoning, introductive reasoning, and structural judgment, logical reasoning, abstract reasoning. These are all the analytical part of architecture. That is, you need to analyze the problem, and with that problem you will be giving the solution for the questions. Generally in mathematics, what students will have that doubt on what I need to concentrate more on maths, what I should concentrate more on physics, or what I should concentrate more on chemistry. That is nothing. It is simple that already you have gone through in your plus two syllabus. The maths will consist of the general maths is consist of two parts. One is matrices, algebra, and you have that vector algebra. The second part is on integral calculation and differential calculation. You concentrate on these topics so that you can easily get in the entire mathematical answers, mathematical questions. The physics part and the chemistry part consist of you concentrate more on atomic physics so that you can go in easily with all the physics type questions. Chemistry, you concentrate only on the organic chemistry part, so that with the help of organic chemistry you can easily answer the chemistry part of question. And coming to the general aptitude part in architecture and the analytical part of architecture, in the general part, general aptitude part, you concentrate more on surface counting, edge counting, plan to top view, such type of questions. So you can easily the paper folding, paper cutting, such questions. And for your diagrammatic reasons or analytical technical part of your NATA exam, you concentrate more on the image identification, the puzzle format questions, so that it will be helpful for you to answer the questions. You before answering a question, you just go through the question, you analyze the question, if you read the question one or twice, you will be able to find the problem. So with this problem, you can able to easily give the answer for the questions. That's it about my view on NATA and architecture.
Thank you, sir, for giving an excellent coverage on what NATA is, how to strategically approach it, as well as the breakdown of what types of questions will be asked. Thank you, sir. Now, to the audience, we will be playing the continuation video of Meggans Ooty School of Architecture and its campus life. Over to you, Hari, sir.
The college has always relied on all-round development for the students, making them realize their full potential as social beings. The college has a great resource in the Alumni Association and has been adding on to it with its great initiatives such as Alumni Meet, conferences, in-house publications, among others. This has brought about an active cultural glimpse of which can be seen in the organization of events and participation of students in these meetings.
In third year, there is a major shift towards the technical aspects of architectural design, where the students are more conscious about the structure and services by default, having in mind the practicality.
Subjects like building houses helps students figure out operational challenges associated with build spaces.
This is also a time where we concentrate on developing the site planning skills of the students, with the project skills being relatively larger than the previous semesters.
When we started our third year architecture design, we were educated more on the practicality of building construction that goes hand in hand with the design process.
We took on landscape projects such as function development, office complexes, etc. that taught us the importance of site planning.
In the fourth year, we prepare the students to come up with more site contextual design, particularly in the urban context. This helps students to conceptualize design solutions at various levels of the built environment.
The students undertake an intensive data collection process in the site itself. A specific city that is chosen every year, and tools such as surveys, interviews, and photo documentations are employed in this process.
With this conceptual information, the students are able to design more efficiently and site-specifically. The focus of creating more interactive spaces in their design.
This particular skill in architectural design also makes students aware about the scope and possibilities in the field of urban design as a career option in the future.
For our Urban Design Studio this year, we undertook a structured survey and data collection study of 9 peri-urban settlements in Coimbatore.
We surveyed streets, junctions, and neighborhoods and identified issues faced by the local people through interviews.
We compiled this data and came up with the creative design interventions to improve the quality of life of the community.
Thesis is the culmination of knowledge acquired over the semesters, inculcated with a spirit of research and architecture.
We facilitate the students with a coherent line of independent thinking and let them express the very clear agendas for their own projects.
We offer the students an opportunity to experiment through the various tools and technologies of their own interest with the support of mentors.
Based on accepted norms with the consideration of social impact, which is well analyzed through the critical perspective, that would help strengthen their thesis process.
Our supervisors have guided us really well regardless of the pandemic, and we feel really grateful for them.
Our thesis was when we got to explore and come up with innovative ideas and technological improvements, and our supervisors motivated us to think outside the box.
We've been trying to innovate and improve architectural education through systematic integration of research and analysis in various stages of design. We have organized setting up of our own online platform and even tried including different applications to supplement the concept of information for students even during the lockdown. Now the design pedagogy also includes interactive systems and tries to improve their acumen in prospecting and integrating social skills, communications and discussions. This has been always our attempt, and the SET Meccans Association is one of the many steps leading to this.
Thank you, Hari sir. Now, the forum is open for question and answer. You can ask your questions, you can voice over your questions through the mic as well as type it in the public chat.
Students and participants, in case if you want any study material or materials to know more about architecture, the career options in architecture, etc., you can leave your details in the public chat box. We'll contact you, or otherwise you can take the number of Mr. Surya Kannan and you can contact him as well. You can surf through our online link also.
Participants, we have our website address as well as Professor Surya Kannan's number on the public chat. So in case of any doubts, any queries, or if you want any study materials regarding NATA, you can approach us. Now, I'd like to welcome Architect Saranya, Associate Professor, Meccans Ooty School of Architecture, to deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, JP. Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to thank you all for being a part of this informative session. I thank our chief guest, Architect Vyom Sinha, for gracing us with his presence on this special day. Knowing his commitments and his engagements, it's a big honor for us that he is a part of this occasion. Thank you, sir. We thank the guest of honor, Architect Akhilesh, for taking his time out of his busy schedules to be with us on this day and enlightening us. I thank you, sir, for your presence. This event wouldn't have been possible without the able leadership of our faculties, including our Dean, Principal, HOD, Professor Surya Kannan and his able team. We thank you, sir, for your guidance. We also thank Professor Jaipriya Gopinath for her team and organizing this event. We thank the webinar participants who had made this event a grand success. I will now
Thank you. Yeah. Yes, Harisa.
A serene ambience to nurture your creative minds. State-of-the-art infrastructure to achieve the elevated learning curve. A library that is a beacon of answers and inspiration. Dedicated professionals as faculties. A family of senior students to guide you at any moment. Cozy and comforting residential quarters that moved among the mother nature. Studying at McGann's is an aspiring architect's dream come true. We are the McGann's OT School of Architecture.
Thank you all. Have a good evening. Thank you.